Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And a very good afternoon, folks. 13th of Ramadan. Today, hari ini, we have the 6th of May. Happy Wednesday to each and every one of you. Salam Hari Rabu kepada anda semua. Diharapkan anda semua chill, tenang, masih lagi aman, damai di rumah ataupun yang mana yang dah hadir dekat tempat kerja sekarang. Hope you guys are doing well at your workplace. Make sure that you have your sanitizer ready, your mask on, your clean wipes and everything. Make sure you have all of those things with you because you never know, you might want to go to one place to another. At least you have all of these things to keep you clean. As always, saya mengucapkan selamat tengah hari kepada anda. Hope that you guys are still very much sane, very much in the rhythm of Ramadan, first of all, and also very much in high spirit. Because why? Again, granted, we are in a new phase right now. We are in the CMCO, which is the Movement Control Order. Okay, that's too many C's there. Or maybe PKPB, Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan Bersyarat. I do hope that everybody is still abiding by all the laws, rules and regulations to make sure that you guys are taking care of yourself. Now, today's edition for Sema Sempoi with me, Adlan, I have a guest that we're going to be talking about, about viral, about content. What is content actually? For all people out there who do not know, content is, things or stuff that you actually put online, that you create, that you produce to get viewership, to get readership on board, and to appreciate the things that you put online. It's not just online, actually. It could be online and it could be offline. And some content can be viral and some content can just be like words on a piece of paper and that's it. And today we got a professional who's been doing nothing but content all of his life. He's a bit of a star. I'm actually very, timid right now because the guy has appeared in many videos out there, made us laugh, made us, feel good about ourselves. And here he is right now, folks, ladies and gents. Without further ado, the red carrot man himself. Am I saying that correctly? I do not know. Marzuki, how are you, man?
How are you, Vio? I'm good. Thanks very much
All
for
right.
having me.
Yeah, I hope my introduction wasn't too gung ho or vavoom. I like to pick up people as much as I do because that's what I do. Because I always hang out with awesome, cool people such as yourself.
I'm flattered actually, but isn't Lobak Merah already carrot? Red carrot sounds like
no, you're being
Lobak Merah Merah.
It's a bit redundant, isn't it? Because like carrot, most of the time the carrot is always red again. So,
Yeah.
But nevertheless, again, first of all, thank you so much, Zikri, for coming on to the show, Sema Sempoi, this
Thanks for
afternoon.
having me. Thanks for having me, actually.
All right, so working from home, I can see that you're
Yeah.
busy working at home.
Yeah, I'm juggling like so many things, and it's a bit tough working from home. Actually, I mean, you're comfortable, but that's the tough part, I guess. One of the tough part. But at the same time, there's no transition between like home and work, so you don't know when to switch off and switch on.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
that's the tough part, lah, basically.
One of the things that I don't really, I mean, like, as much as I appreciate working from home, the problem is that I'm a lazy ass guy. I'm that kind of a guy who wakes up, with the best intentions ever, wanting to do work, but then suddenly the magnet of the bed is so freaking strong that it's just difficult for you to get up. Exactly.
I know, right?
But
It's too
I mean,
dangerous.
but I guess in these kind of times and everything, it teaches us to be a bit more disciplined. It tests us to be a better person, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it really like betul-betul like uji apa disiplin lah basically kedisiplinan.
Whatever it is, man. I mean, like, that's cool. Okay, cool. So Ziki Mazuki, a lot of people know you definitely. I mean, like, we've watched you online or on YouTube on two channels specifically, which is the WOB channel as well as the Lobak Merah channel. You have been some kind of a internet sensation juga lah. You and your team. I don't want to give credit just to you, but I have to give team members as well because you guys are a bunch of cool people who live day in and day out to create awesome content for viewers out there. So, tell us a bit, the history about you and Lobak Merah and WOB. How long has it been? And I was told that you're no longer there now.
No. Basically, I started joining Influasia. Basically, Lobak Merah, World of Bus, and then there's another two portal, Munch and Nudo is under this company called Influasia. So I joined in about I think 2018. I think mid 2018, and I joined in under World of Buzz actually. So I was a producer at World of Buzz, producing client contents and internal contents, and then after that, I was spearheading one of our a new portal, so to speak, focusing on food, F&B lah, basically, because we figure out like F&B, hey, everyone loves food, right? So why not
Yeah,
just
who
open
doesn't love
more?
food, right?
So in between, yeah, basically, uh, working there was a steep learning curve, but because the company is a small company, when I joined in, it was still small. Now it's big lah. When it's still small and everyone's like wear many hats, the producers does from A to Z, even become the talent sometimes.
Mhm.
So working there has been a steep learning curve, and it was fun because it's fast paced, and you get to like enjoy from A to Z, from beginning until the end, until producing a what we call content, and then presenting to the Malaysian market or audience,
Yeah,
and then we keep
and
repeating that process. It's a
yeah,
fun
exactly.
process.
But of course, I mean, like watching the videos that was produced on Lobak Merah and World of
Mm.
Buzz and everything, you can't deny that the inspiration actually came from a lot of other outside, production houses or outside, what owner companies like BuzzFeed or Tasty or all these kind of videos. Do you guys look at this as okay? It's something that we can replicate and make it a local taste, or do you like okay? Aku nak tiru je lah like bulat-bulat. I'm just gonna do it
Mm.
like what is the thought process then? How do you create this kind of content looking at outside punya influences?
Well, inspiration is definitely there. We were coined as BuzzFeed Malaysia many times actually, and some people
Mm,
get confused. Like, you guys are like, wait, BuzzFeed? And no, we're not. We're
mm,
not. But inspiration is definitely there. But at the end of the day, there's nothing original anymore, and we do try to make those kind of content that is engaging, that involves like everyday people, including us. The talents is themselves us, everyday people. So localization is one thing because that's how we can relate to our audience most of the time, and this is what people want to watch, basically something that they can relate to. And us being us Malaysian, we have that already. And these are
mm,
some of the formulas that we work at. We based on lah, basically. And true enough, it works, and a lot
yeah,
of people are enjoying our contents, basically from World Buzz to Lobak Merah to even Nudo content sometimes. I mean,
mm, yeah,
I can't understand Chinese, but sometimes I watch videos and I can enjoy our Chinese
yeah.
content as well.
I mean, the proof is definitely in the data, in the numbers, because you guys, apart
Mm.
from just building up the content, it is also, you guys are also required to really understand the numbers, the analytics behind all of the videos that you guys put
Yeah.
out in
Mm.
regards of engagement, the number of likes, the number of comments. Maybe you can actually, give us just a bit of a 101 kind of basic understanding. What does these numbers actually mean, and why is it important when you do something online on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, or whatever it is? These numbers matter, and what does these numbers represent?
That's the best part about today. Everything online is live. You can see everything live, the engagement especially. And this is what we want. We want
Mm,
not just the viewers. Last time, television, radio, this is what you get, the numbers, right?
mhm,
Viewers, listeners. But this time, online, I mean, Facebook, YouTube, you get engagement. So you can see like whether the views, all these engagements are negative or positive. Of course you
mhm,
want positive, right? But like they say,
mhm.
like, bad publicity is good publicity too, right? But
Exactly, exactly.
yeah, but we always try for the good engagement. So this and everything, all these are live. So, and these numbers, it's not for us, it's for the companies out there. And we as a media's medium, basically, hence media.
Mhm.
And we
Yep.
we are the messenger, basically, to put your products out there. So these brands are basically selling products, like you have Nivea, you have apa nama, say Lipton tea. So they want to promote their products. So they want all these numbers translate back to their sales lah, basically, whether you want like if they want to market their product. So we have all these data. So let's say Lipton Tea's target market is about between 18 until 45. This is Wolabuzz. We have these are your market. We can market your product for you for a certain amount of price, and we have good content as well, basically. So that's how we do it lah.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the content itself. Yes, obviously numbers matter. Whenever you approach a client, you need to sell the idea that come and let us produce your stuff and everything. You're gonna get the eyeballs and everything, but the content itself.
Yeah.
I myself, I had the pleasure of working in a production house before, and always and 99% of the time, content is very much something that you need to deliver that you can have that empathy feeling, something that the audience can relate to. How true is that, and how much do you need to push the envelope to make sure that people can actually feel whenever you do a video?
Well, like I said, first, we have a lot of formulas that we work on based on during my time at Influasia. One of the formula is basically something that relates the Malaysianness, basically. So let's say if you have something that we have to sell, basically, we try to focus not on the product so much, because last time when you watch TV, when you see an advertisement of a product, it's hard sell. Basically, it's about the product. It's they're selling a pen. It's pen. No, in Wolabuzz, in Influasia, Lobak Merah, this is how people want. They don't want you to sell a product. They want you to sell an idea or something that they can relate to. So day in, day out at Wolabuzz, Lobak Merah, during my time there, is basically ideating. So how do you make a content that is selling an item, but it's not saying, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this. Yeah. So for example, like we call it creative content for a reason, because we churn out an idea that is creative enough that captures the people's attention and the people's heart, without them knowing that we are actually telling them, hey, buy this pen.
That's
so it's more
totally true. Because I guess people nowadays, especially in today's day and age, people just got fed up of being pushed of a certain product, and the attention span of a person in today's day is very short. I think it's about 7 to 8 seconds, or even maybe less than
shorter
that.
than goldfish, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Even goldfish can remember what he did yesterday. I don't think even humans right now have the ability to do such.
Good.
So what YouTube is actually doing, ever since they enforced that 5-second, skip button and everything.
Yeah.
In other words, YouTube is telling people out there, agencies out there, you got 5 seconds to make sure that you grab the attention of the viewer. How easy to do that? How difficult is it to get that 5 seconds to get that attention?
Oh, that 5 second, you gotta start with a good catchphrase, a good punchline. Usually, unless you're a known brand and people just know your brand for some good content.
If you're Coke or if you're McDonald's, I mean, it would be easier. Or Adidas, Nike. But let's say like somebody like Kicap Mak Limah or whatever it is.
Oh. You gotta start with, okay, if you're selling, okay, here's my thought process that start working now, basically. If you're selling like Kicap Mak Limah, and you're selling to people who are mostly Suri Rumah or chefs or cooks, right, basically. But how do you that's not all that you want to target. Actually, you want to target like Petronas is an oil company. How come everyone watches their ads, right? There's a message, there's something to it. So you wanna come up with content, something like that. First, 5 seconds, some catchphrase, maybe some paling simple, a quote lah that really catches people's attention. Usually Merdeka, something like nationalism, those kind of quotes really catches people's attention lah. And usually, but during those Merdeka time lah, usually.
I mean, it has to be along together with that particular celebration yang kita nak buat lah. Katakan you nak keluar Merdeka punya ad during Chinese New Year, that would look a bit funny now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, script is satu, some punchline or anything. Other than that, hey, this is like, everyone's on their phone, everyone's on their, everyone has screens now. So within that 5 second, you best make sure that your content has a good, or what do they call it, a hook. So that first 5 second, good, like, good visual, people, you catch people attention, then you're set. Then I could probably watch for the next, like, 5 or 10 seconds of your ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly just what you have shared on your IG story previously. I mean, the one that I commented about a truck going through a flooded road.
Oh, yeah.
Never would I have thought that particular video I would have watched it until the end. But I actually stayed on for the next 5.5 minutes watching a truck going through water, like for nothing sebenarnya. But it was intriguing, wasn't it?
It was intriguing, and I guess where did I post it? On IG, right?
On your IG story.
On IG, right? So that's what happened. Like on IG, usually they had a limit of 10 seconds, right? So the first 10 seconds you can watch a video. 15 the first 15 seconds, right? So I guess, if the visual is like, intriguing enough for people to like stay on and watch and see what happens then. So that's the hook lah, basically. Will they make it? I think on the caption also I put it wait for it, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, wait for it.
And then
watch it till the end, something like that.
So you watch it till the end. And that's the best part. IG also last time, I'm not sure if you're using iPhone or not, but iPhone last time, if you post an IGTV, you can watch the first, the IGTV punya thumbnail, it plays. But for Android, it doesn't play. But now it plays. So it works, they updated the system now, so it works for Android now. So I guess a lot of like brands right now, they are doing IGTV punya content. So it's a bit longer, more than 1 minute, and then they basically sell their products through that lah. Just how Petronas and TNB and all these companies are not selling product; they're selling like a commodity. Nobody thinks about it, but people still watch their content. So you got to give it to all these people, like from Saatchi, from Reservoir Production. They all come up with these great ideas lah. You give it to them lah. In case you guys out there, viewers don't know, these are the people who make these ads yang korang tengok dekat TV selalu raya. But this time, sadly, we don't see it.
Yeah, we definitely don't know what's going on, and it's definitely as what you mentioned. Not a lot of people out there who are not from the industry actually understands how a TV ad ataupun any specific marketing campaign is being done. There's a lot of party that gets involved, not just from the owner of the brand itself. There's also the commercial side. There's the ad side, and there's the production side. Banyak lagi yang sebenarnya yang actually menyumbangkan
the layer.
The layer, it's like endless, and you can imagine yang mana yang dah subcon tu kan. So you can imagine like the third, fourth layer orang yang kat bawah tu lagi macam mana. But I do want to ask you about your opinion. One thing about our level of ads or our level of content when it comes to local products lah. I don't know, this is my opinion. I love watching Thai ads. I love watching American ads. I love watching Japanese ads, or even Korean for that matter. Why is it that Malaysian level, when it comes to producing an ad, is still as what you would have seen 20 years ago? Why are we not adventurous enough to be like these people? Aren't we like as good as these people or even better, you think?
We are. But as soon as you tell a child what to do, that child is not gonna have his or her mind wander. I mean, that's the whole point of storytelling, or if you're talking about ads, like storytelling. Basically, it's a creative process. And the thing about where I'm going with this is basically Malaysia has a lot of censorship laws, so creatives are not able to express themselves just yet. There's so many things to think about, and before you know it, before you reach your certain creative level and that good idea, you're already like suppressing yourself to that point, and then you just come up with a mediocre content. So that is what happening with Malaysia punya ads. If you see on TV also, it's just typical advertisement.
I mean, you can imagine like people using phone and then like showing off phone and everything. There's no story to it. I mean, how Apple has actually done. I mean, definitely you have watched Apple videos, how they promote. They come up with short film, 3-minute, 5-minute short film to express on the how life could be, and then like the phone, the product placement is not that obvious, but it's there. You definitely notice it, but you enjoy the motion of the story, as what Petronas actually did. My
Yeah.
second question to you is, like you said, okay, there's censorship and everything, but also, adakah kita sebagai rakyat Malaysia senang tersinggung? Are we so easily offended when people come up with all of these creative ideas, and then macam, oh, you can't say this because you're going to offend this guys, you're going to offend this guy, oh, this guys can't take a joke, so you can't do this. Your thoughts?
Whoa, there's so many layers involved. Actually, yes, Malaysians are easily butthurt. Actually, because we have so many things to lose, and because of this also, apparently, which I don't know if this is good or bad, but our politicians also is really concerned of what the people have to say. So I guess it's a popularity punya thing lah. If a politician supports your cause, then he will win the vote. So Malaysians being like, most Malaysians being, easily butthurt, I guess this affects the whole process of the thing. So it's a bigger picture in itself, tau. So in going back to like, us being in our industry in order to make something and, being suppressed, it does affect a lot. And Malaysians being butthurt is just one layer of it. Basically.
But just to contra that again, I know I asked you the question. Now I wanna take myself out and trying to negate this pula. But doesn't this give the opportunity or the chance to all the creative heads out there to be extra creative, to produce something which is like we know within these limitations you can't go A, you can't go B, you can't go C. Let's go D, let's go E. Again,
you gotta beat around the bush.
Exactly.
Basically, there's so many things. I mean, during with the existence of internet and social media, it does allow us content creators to produce something that is beyond what you see on television as you normally do, and because there's not much laws censoring content on online basically. So we're pretty much free to do whatever we want. We want to censor that, that swear word. We don't want to censor it. It's fine. And because of this also, it's a way to beat around the bush. And because of this also, we get more creative. Like I'll give you one example. Innuendo, double meaning. I mean, who doesn't love double meaning? Double entendre, right?
The word between the lines, all these kind of things. Yeah, sure.
You read between the lines, so only certain people will catch it. And the Alhamdulillah, I guess the newer generation of Malaysians, they're more creative. I guess they're more acceptant towards
they're more
these kind of things. Towards
these
things, right? And they can catch this thing and they enjoy it. And with the rise of the TikTok community and all in Malaysia, you can see like Malaysians are getting more and more creative and more accepting towards all these creative ideas and content. Whatever you feed them, anything creative, even visual or in words, they'll accept it. But I guess certain only a few will get butthurt. Like just recently I saw this content okay, I'm guilty of butthurt also but I don't think this is right. I saw a content of in the TikTok. Basically they started to because after prayers and all they started doing TikTok terus, and then you wearing all this like telekung and all, and I find it kind of macam maybe you should take that off first and then do your TikTok content, because I don't think you should mix that one. But I'm not butt hurting, but I guess macam you're gonna get a backlash. And true enough, later there's one YouTuber Alif Roslan posted a video saying like I don't think this is right. If you want to do like TikTok content, maybe you should just take off your songkot, take off your telekung, because once people see that, they're gonna relate religion and something silly.
Exactly.
So
it's like macam orang macam pakai purdah and suddenly you saw them in Zouk doing like a dance move. It's
like that
kind of thing. I mean, like we're not saying that you cannot go, but what we're trying to say is that if you want to indulge in this kind of things, do it appropriately and jangan nak campurkan all this thing. So is that something that you draw the line to when it comes to this thing, when it involves religion?
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you something. During my time working in media before joining agency, pun, yeah. If it involves religion just by a tad bit, don't touch it at all. Remove
Oh, why
religion
do the
because you don't
Christians
want.
can do this? You hear all these stand-up comedies, you hear Trevor Noah, you hear Stephen Colbert, they make fun of Christians, they make fun of Jews and
Yeah.
everything. But when it comes to Islam, nobody can
Yeah.
touch Islam. Is that fair?
Okay. First of all, I think Americans. I think the most of the context that you are referring to are
Yeah.
Americans. Americans are they really, really appreciate the freedom of speech. So,
Okay.
if you want to say bad things about religion, also, yeah, some people can rebut you, but
Mm.
at the end of the day, it's their right. But in Malaysia, free speech is something not there yet. You can have your opinion, but
Mm.
there's something about religion that is sacred, basically. So
Mm.
we don't
I mean,
touch
for
it,
us,
lah.
it's because of our culture lah sebenarnya kan.
Mm-mm.
When you talk about religion, when you talk about things that you are not supposed to make fun of, it all comes
Yeah.
down right to our culture. Because again, you don't see the Japs do it as much. You don't see the
No.
Koreans, you don't see the Thais, you don't see the Indonesian,
Mm-mm.
unless usually kalau diorang dah like being a stand-up in the US or in the UK, then
Yeah.
more often than not, they try to blend in with the locals over there.
Stand up in Malaysia pun ada juga. Sometimes a bit offensive, but sometimes it's not hurting me. You do you, I
Yeah,
do me. If I
yeah.
think it's funny, it's funny.
Tak,
Some people
itulah
think.
sebenarnya. I think that sometimes Malaysians, it's hard for us to distinguish between truthness and sarcasm and joke. Dia tak reti nak menilai antara semua ni.
Yeah.
And that's when they go that, oi, aku pantang, sial, ini kurang ajar, aku
Ah.
nak panggil geng bawang aku dah, aku nak attack kau.
Mm-mm.
These are the kind of impressions that we're getting right now.
Well, a lot, and then especially like all these people are politically linked, and then you get like sometimes some. I don't want to touch too much into this, but politics involved in pretty much all of our Malaysian daily life lah. So if somebody like butthurt and then touch something about religion, and some politician will take that as a point to level up their political game lah, basically, because at the end of the day, that is religion and race politics in Malaysia. It's still there. It's still relevant. So people use this as a tool. So yeah, not in media lah. Media, especially like digital media, we try to avoid like religion, culture. If you want to touch culture, pun you empower it. That's the best part, and that is one of the formula that Lobak Merah and World of Buzz has been using. The one Malaysia factor, and people love that. Actually, if you touch on culture in that sense, you mix them, that's Malaysia. That the idea of Malaysia, one Malaysia, people love that. People watch it, people comment on it, and people love especially when an Indian person can speak Chinese. Oh, they love that. They love that.
Exactly. I mean, people forget, because like during my time, I mean, like our times are definitely different between yourself dengan me, Zikri. But my time again, we embodied the Abu, Achong, and Raju mentality. My best friends in primary school was, a Chinese guy and an Indian guy, and we hung around, more often than not. That was the whole embodiment of how we were before. And unfortunately, right now, dia orang macam dah ada silo sikit, but I think we are still, we want to embrace that back. We want to, get to know back our brothers and sisters of different race, because again, we're in Malaysia. No, we can't hide the fact that kita memang masyarakat majmuk, and we need to do as much as we can to be prosperous. We're living together under the same roof. Itu yang kita
agree.
nak
Rugi lah kalau Malaysia is a melting pot. That's the best part of Malaysia, and that's what makes Malaysia Malaysia. Malaysia is like dude, which country can you find like so many kinds of food in one place? You just go to one food court.
Food didn't come to Malaysia because of our single ethnicity. It's because the fact that we have so many different people here. Hence why our food is awesome.
Kan? Just imagine being like in Arab country just eating nasi Arab every day. No way, man.
Bosan bro. Orang semua tempat lah. Kau makan nasi mandi 3 hari pun letih.
Malam mandi, lepas tu makan nasi mandi. Esok pagi mandi, breakfast nasi mandi.
Jam.
Cannot.
Okay. Aidilfitri is coming up. As a content creator and working in an agency yourself, we're only about 2 weeks away from Raya. Do you see anything great happening on the media side in regards of promotions and campaigns, you think, with the current conditions right now?
Oh wow. Okay. Basically, speaking regarding Influasia, they did Raya selling Raya Ideas campaign way before this MCO. I think about January macam tu. And then sadly this MCO happened. So all
Yeah.
those ideas cannot be used basically because those ideas
Yeah.
are involve shooting outside. So I don't know what's in store for them, but they definitely do have some ideas for Raya content. Something has to do with like what we're doing right now, like live session or something like that lah. Basically, but do check out their page lah if you want to know more. But in my perspective, like my opinion on TV, I don't know. I hope all these like Petronas ads and all, they already shot their ads long time ago. They just editing it, and hopefully we can see something lah on TV on
Yeah.
screen, something that could touch our hearts again. Because right now, I think everyone needs it lah. Everyone's been
Yeah.
stuck at home. Everyone's demotivated. We need something that could raise our
Like
spirit back up.
pick ourselves up
Yeah,
and try
pick
to be,
yourself up.
having that feeling. Granted, now we may be facing a
Yeah,
new normal, but there's some things that we do miss so much, and we wanna try
yeah,
to
we do.
have that feeling balik lah sebenarnya.
Mm-mm.
Okay, interesting stuff. I do want to point out some things. I've managed to dig up some things off of you online. Funny
Oh,
enough, that you're very much a sportsman during your school
sportsman.
days, huh? What you? I see here short put lah, long jump lah, high jump, and rugby. Rugby is
Oh,
sport, isn't it?
yeah. Basically, okay. If you see all those sports, basically all those sports yang kalau zaman
Adakah
sekolah
itu
biasanya.
sekadar kau nak dapat sijil je sebenarnya? That's why you enter.
No, actually, I do enjoy sports because I wasn't much of an academic guy. I don't succeed so much in
But
academic. I
you
mean,
got second during your Datuk Wira debate. That's not bad, man. Oh, that requires speaking, so that's fine.
speaking okay lah because speaking is just the use of language we're used to because kat rumah we speak English with my parents and my family and all. So I think throughout my school years from Darjah 1 until 4-5, I only got a B once, and itu pun I was like, what?
Macam
So
we,
English,
we can't fathom
yeah.
the fact that if you get B for English kan macam kurang ajar betul.
Yeah, and then the second place also, the debate second place also, I think that was part of my fault also. I didn't like study like the topic so much. I was just this is fine because I was picked for the debate team anyway by the teachers. It's like, hey, your English is good. Okay lah, you join the debate team because in school not many people are really well versed. So
Yeah.
just because I'm good at speaking English doesn't mean I can debate. But okay lah, dapat second place. I think my friends
Okay lah.
were pissed off juga, right?
It's definitely an achievement in itself because again, or people like us, I think we're very blessed. Again, as much as we are, memang tak dapat nafikan, we are Malay, we are Malaysians, and bahasa Malaysia adalah bahasa ibu. But you cannot be that stuck up to not acknowledge to be able to have a second language in your, in your itinerary. Because at the end of the day, to have more than one language is definitely a must in this day and age. And we're not even talking about now. Zaman-zaman dulu pun, our parents, I remember my dad telling me, if you want to make it in the world, you have to have English with you. That's what I took from my dad.
It's a global language. Why not use it as a tool, not to bukan nak memperkasakan bahasa orang lain, but it's language. At the end of the day, it's a tool, it's a medium to convey your message. And plus, I heard this, I read this somewhere, basically, because different language has different structure to it and different like idioms and philosophy tau, actually. Even language has philosophy. And when you learn new language, your thought process is somewhat different tau. And then it doesn't have number 3, I guess. Point number 3 is a lot of literatures are in English. So if you want to learn something, tak banyak buku ni yang dah translate ke bahasa ibunda. So best to learn English is the best language to learn and because there's so many books out there that are in English are not in Malay. I mean, I enjoy my Malay books as well. Hamka is one of the author that really changed how I conduct myself lah, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, so bukan nak memperkasakan bahasa orang lain, but it's a tool. See that way,
It's definitely, it's something that like it or not, you should have it, for your own well-being dan juga for your own self-development juga moving forward sebenarnya. Alright, hey dude, we are at 34 minutes right now. Oh my god, time flies when you're having fun, definitely.
Oh, half an hour already.
the
That
half
was
an hour
fast.
later. So yeah, dude, it has been very insightful talking about the world of media and the impact of content, the creation of content, and the
It's a
impact
pleasure.
of certain views and everything. So before we go off, maybe you just want to say something to our viewers, in regards of the content ataupun whatever it is that you want to wish lah.
Oh, okay. In regards to the content, basically just do it. Whatever you have no reason not to, because nowadays phones pun dah canggih, dah boleh record. You can upload straight to your phone and edit straight from your phone, and just do it. I mean, nowadays, even content can make you money. You can be an
Yep.
influencer and make money. Who knows? 10 years ago, nobody thought you can be on a camera and make money from your phone.
Yep.
And I guess in general, during this Ramadan and MCO, I urge everyone to stay safe and always take care of your cleanliness, and try to stay at home as much as you can. Only go out when you have to. And to those celebrating Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem, selamat berpuasa. Puasa jangan tak puasa, and jangan lupa niat, nanti tak sah. And hopefully you do whatever you can to prepare for Raya ahead, because this is going to be different. Thank you.
Definitely, different is definitely the word, the takeaway that we can actually, bring back to us. Thank you so much, Zikri Mazuki, for coming on to Sembah Sempoi for today's edition. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. So that's it for itu saja edisi kita untuk hari ini. So diharapkan anda dapat sedikit sebanyak apa yang dikongsikan dengan Zikri. Kalau you nak create content tu, mana tahu you could be the next YouTube sensation. Kalau you nak advice ke apa benda ke, you can actually DM Zikri Mazuki. Ada dia punya IG dekat bawah. Should you want to ask him anything, I don't think he's that stuck up. He will entertain you. Tengok schedule dia macam mana je lah. Alright, okay. Okay, itu saja dari kami. Okay, as always, please kita jaga kita, stay at home, duduk di rumah, dan jom Malaysia kita putuskan rantaian COVID-19 ni. Alright, say bye-bye Zikri. See ya.
Bye. Thanks very much.
Okay,
See
ciao.
ya.
Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam.